Coming up on Up at Noon, the WWE's Xavier Woods stops by along with Goichi Suda, aka Suda51. And we got some Sonic the Hedgehog toys. What? We do. All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live.
Hello and welcome to a very special Up at Noon. I'm Brian Altano. This is Max Scoville. With us today, Suda51 and Alan Costa from Grasshopper. You guys, I am so happy you're here. We're going to get to this in just a second. You can watch Up at Noon on IGN, Roku, Xbox One, Apple TV, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. But you know what? You're already here. You're already doing that. So let's get right into it. We have a huge show. Xavier Woods is coming on in a few minutes.
This is a big episode. This is exciting. We got special guests hanging out and yeah.
So let's talk. Let's talk. Suda, first of all, thank you so much for coming. You're one of my favorite game developers of all time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Got Killer 7 here, which is just a classic to me. Just one of my favorite games ever made.
Thank you.
So seriously, this is a big honor. Thank you. So tell us about this new game that you're putting out. That's basically a remake of one of your earliest games.
今回僕が紹介したいのはグラスホッパーを作って第1弾目のゲームなんですね。それがシルバーケース、日本だとシルバー事件というゲームなんですけども、それが17年ぶりに HD リマスターで発売することになって、去年実は PC で出てるんですけども、今年プレイステーション4で発売することになります。
Yeah, hi, I'm Suda. I'm here today to talk to you about The Silver Case, a game I made about 17 years ago in Japan. In Japan, it's called The Silver Jiken. It came out actually last year on PC, this remaster, but we're bringing it out now for PS4.
Is it strange to go back to something that's so far back in your life? I mean, I can't even think about what I was doing 17 years ago without like cringing with regret.
どう思うんですか、それを。
すごく懐かしいんですけども、何が懐かしいかっていうと、要は17年前の自分に合ってる感じなんですよね。若かったまだ僕は30代の頃の30歳の時のスダ51になる前の51スダになんか合ってる若いクレーターと合ってるようななんかそんな感覚を受けましたね。
It's nostalgic, and what I mean by nostalgic is that I'm meeting myself from 30 years ago essentially. So, and this was before I was Suda51. I was just a guy named Suda Goichi, and being able to see him again and meet him again is incredibly nostalgic.
So how have you seen the video game industry change in this time? The business model has evolved. We just saw you put out Let It Die, which was a free-to-play game. Are you happy with the way the games industry has evolved?
ゲームズインダストリーの進化についてちょっと話していただけますか。
そうですね。やっぱりビデオゲームが確かにレッド・イット・ダイっていうで、新しい挑戦をしていて、だけども非常にシルバー事件でクラシックなんですけども、僕がやっぱりもともとやろうとしたのってやっぱりストーリーがまずベースにあって、そこにさまざまなゲームが入り込んでくる。でシルバー事件はテキストアドベンチャースタイルなんですけども、でも作り方って実は変わってなくて。その後のキラーセブンもノーマーヒーローズも、レッドダイもそうなんですけども、基本的にはやはりストーリーが軸になって、そこにゲームシステムを乗っけていくっていう作り方なんですよね。もちろんレッドダイは逆かな。システムがあって今度世界観だったりとかキャラクターがいるんですけども、なんか原点、まさに僕がこれまで作ってきたゲームの原点がシルバー事件だったりとかするので、時代は変わってるんですけども、自分の中のベースって多分あまり変わってないんだなっていうのを改めてシルバー事件というゲームに僕自身が出会って感じたことなんですよね。
So yeah, for me specifically, you're right. There has been a lot of changes over the years. One thing to note about Silver Case specifically, it's really story-based. Everything since then too, it feels like probably industry-wide. You're seeing more and more the game coming with the story first and then putting gameplay elements and things on top of that. He said every game he's made since the Silver Case has essentially been that. Story first and then adding gameplay elements through that as it goes on. Obviously Let It Die is a little bit of a different style, like you mentioned, it is free to play and there's things like that, but overall that style of how he makes games he feels hasn't really changed, at least for him specifically.
Cool. So now you're known for kind of dabbling in different styles. You sometimes do hack and slash, or it's a visual novel, or things that have almost more horror elements to them. Any plans on ever doing anything in VR?
VR のゲームを作りたいと思ってますか?
Of course.
Good.
Of course. ぜひ挑戦してみたいですし、一番新しいビデオゲームにとって一番最新の技術ですから。もう作らないっていう選択肢はないですよね。
Said, yeah, he'd love to. I mean, right now this is the cutting edge of video game development technology, and to not make use of that would be a loss for him. So he wants to do that definitely.
Now, when you're remaking a game like the Silver Case,
Okay, soリメイクするときに
how do you avoid sort of becoming like a George Lucas type
どうやって
character?
ジョージ・ルー
Where
カス
maybe you make some
みたいに
decisions
例えば
that could piss off fans of the original.
オリジナルのファンになんかどうやってなんか怒らせないんですか。
ああなるほど。そうですね。まあオリジナルのファンっていうのはやはり日本のファンがほとんどなので、まず海外の皆さんは多分シルバー事件自体を触ったことないと思うんですよ。なのでまずベースとなる日本のクラシックなファン、やっぱりずっと応援してくれてきた古いグラスホッパーのファン、彼らに向けてはそうですね、できるだけ忠実に再現するっていうことだけど、当時の解像度ではやっぱりすごく低いんですよね。やはり見劣りがしてしまうので、だけど HD でやったとしても何かプレイステーション1の時のなんか匂い、ポリゴンの匂いみたいなものが残ってるように、とにかくリッチにしすぎないようにローポリゴン感みたいなものをすごく意識して作りましたね。
So we said, the original game came out on PlayStation a long time ago, and originally it only came out in Japan. So foreign people don't really have any expectations about it.
Right.
But for those fans of that time period of Grasshopper and things like that, he wanted to be as faithful as possible in this remaster. And what that means is he wanted to leave it so that you could still kind of feel the polygons as they were in the original. To not muck up too much the things that were already there, so people can kind of feel that flavor from the era. And in that way, kind of keep it, faithful to the original.
Which is really cool because I think that a lot of us grew up with 8-bit, 16-bit, the old Famicom, and we have adoration for like sprites and stuff like that. But some younger gamers really love polygons. If you look at like something like Killer 7, very flat, very clean, very polygonal. And even the original Metal Gear Solid, people have nostalgia for this now. So do you think this is the style that game developers now in the current time can evolve on more?
今のゲームデベロッパーはそれを生かしてポリゴンスタイルは進化していくと思うんですか。
難しい問題ですよね。なので作品ごとにどういう落としどころが一番いいのか、なんか決まったやり方ないと思うんですよね。シルバー事件はシルバー事件で一番理想にふさわしいリマスターを模索して、今の新しい若い子たちに向けてゲームを作ったので、なので今遊ぶ人たちにとって新鮮であるべきなんですけども、でもそこに当時のノスタルジックもなければいけないっていう、それを作品ごとにもうとにかく落とし込んでいく、集中していくっていうやり方なのかなっていう気はするんですよね。
He said, there's really no specific way people should do things. For him, he thought that polygon fit. Yes, and so it's good to kind of keep going off of that and do that, and for young people today to enjoy it and like that. But you just have to kind of make it to the title, what fits the title.
So we saw you at the Nintendo Switch event, which was a big surprise for me because I'm a huge fan of No More Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
So to hear about that getting a sequel after the second one, which I loved, is really cool. But you're obviously very early in that process. What is it like developing for the Nintendo Switch? Does it feel easy? Is it easy to work with Nintendo?
もうすごく作りやすいです。
It's extremely easy to work with, yeah.
いや、なんていうのかな、僕らに優しいという、開発に優しいと言いますか、誰でも作れる環境を今回ね、スイッチは用意しているので。
It's especially good for the developers. He feels that the environments are there that are really easy for the developers to work on and do things with.
なのでトラビスもね、もちろん復活しますし、You are Travis?
So Travis, are you Travis?
Travis touchdown right here.
Oh, great! Oh, Travis! なので、トラビスも復活するし、いろんなゲームが、いろんなキャラクターがスイッチに集まることを僕は期待してますね。
So he's hoping like a lot of characters will come back, including Travis, obviously, to the Switch.
Now, one of the really cool things about No More Heroes was using the Wii Remote to answer phone calls, to charge your beam guitar, But now with the Nintendo Switch, you don't have that anymore. But you do have the Joy-Con left and right. So can we get maybe some of that? Or some of that?
もちろんもちろん。だからどんな充電がいいのか、こういうのがいいのか、どれがいいか、今そう考えてます。
Right now he's thinking about the process, how to use those Joy-Cons. Maybe you charge it like this time, who knows?
I was going to say, what features in the Switch are most appealing? Whether is it the portability, or is it the HD Rumble? Or...
あとは振動。新しい振動のシステムあれは素晴らしい。
There's a new system inside the Joy-Cons of Rumble, I guess. And that's incredible for a developer system.
So what sort of advantages can you have now that you can bring a game like that anywhere? Do you want to lean into the portability aspect? Do you think that's where the video games are heading?
僕の中でまだ明確な答えはないんですけども、もちろん据え置きでもできるしどこでもできるっていうことを言うと、単なるそのデータ同じセーブデータで続きを遊ぶだけじゃなくて、外した瞬間になんか別の遊びが提供できたりとか、あと僕はやっぱりそのゲームに専用した、特化したもちろんゲーム機ですから、やっぱりこのタッチパッド系のものに多分変わっていくんじゃないかな。もちろんiPad とかってすごくタブレットとかって便利なんですけども、だけどじゃあ便利だけども子供にとってじゃあ本当にこのタッチパッドって理想なのかって言ったらそうではなくて、やっぱりちゃんと子供たちが遊べる遊びがこの中に詰まっているっていうのが理想ですし、そのあたりのなんていうかな考え方っていうのはすごく任天堂素晴らしいなと思っていて。
So there's really no clear answer to him right yet. Of course, being able to take it anywhere is a really good thing. Being able to take your game and your save anywhere is an awesome thing. The fact that the touch panel is there is something really cool to him. I mean, obviously we've seen touch panels on things like iPads and things like that, but let's say you have kids playing. Is that really the ideal thing for them? Having, a little bit extra in other things too. He thinks that that's going to kind of be really the defining feature going forward for the Nintendo Switch.
Interesting.
いやだからなんですか、もちろんノーマンヒーローズとかって大人が遊ぶ、ゲームなんですけども、子供たちも遊べるノーマンヒーローズとかも考えなきゃいけないなと思ってますね。
So he feels that obviously No More Heroes is a game, kind of geared towards adults.
Yeah.
But in the future,
No blood とノーマンヒーローズ。
he said thinking of maybe in the future creating a game like No More Heroes that kids could play, maybe with that, a little less blood. He said.
So I was gonna ask. You've worked on a few licenses. You had Samurai Champloo and Evangelion before. Would you ever work on any other somebody else's worlds? Because you obviously create your own thing.
なるほどね。そういうアニメのベースのものだったりとか原作ものですよね。
Like anime or like other things, right?
Yeah, or movies, or
いやもちろんその興味のある IP であれば挑戦してみたいですし、やっぱりいつか必ず僕ガンダムを作りたいと思ってるんですよね。
He said, yeah, there's lots of things he'd like to work on, and one in particular would be Gundam.
いやバンダイナムコにはずっと言ってるんですけど、
So he's been talking to
なかな
Bandai
か
for
チャンス
years,
がないので、
and he hasn't gotten a chance yet.
I just got chills.
もう必ず30年以内に実現したいなと思ってる。
Within 30 years, he wants to do it.
Okay.
Good.
Yes.
You got plenty of time.
I want to. Yeah.
So you also, we talked about Travis Touchdown before. Again, one of my favorite characters of all time. Just super cool guy, and you're doing a great job dressing as him today.
This was in my closet already. So.
But Travis Touchdown basically has a lightsaber. He's got a beam katana. So would you ever want to make just a straight up Star Wars game?
Star Wars game を作りたいと思うんですか?
Oh, wow, great.
Yeah.
僕にちょっと任せてほしいですね、スター・ウォーズゲームを。はい。
He said he'd love to have a crack at a Star Wars game.
Maybe about one of the bounty hunters, Greedo or
例え
something
ば
like
バウンティー
that.
ハンターのボバフェットとか。
いやだからローグワンに負けないようなねシークエルスピンオフみたいなの作りたいですよね。
So he'd love to make a sequel worthy of like Rogue One or something like that. That's
Rogue
something
Two?
up to that
いやローグ2、ローグ51。
Rogue 51.
Now you saw that movie, right? You know a lot of the characters don't really make it out of that.
Rogue One はもう見ましたよね。
いやもちろん。
結構みんな死んで
It's
ます
fine.
ね。
We'll
い
figure
や死んでる。いや
Yeah,
そうびっくりした。
He said, I was
みん
really
な死んじゃった。
surprised. So they all
言っ
died.
ていいのか
What?
な。まあいいや。
Is that, wait, is it okay to say that?
It's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You haven't seen Rogue One by now. Like I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah,
Get
we've
it
already spoiled it. Now you worked with James Gunn on Lollipop
James is
Chainsaw.
on
it.
And he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy
about
2,
Guardians
which
of the
is
Galaxy
kind of
2.
colorful and bright and fun and weird. Do you stay in touch with him? Are there any plans to ever collaborate
も
again?
う一回コラボとかするんですか?
前日本に来た時にでも2年前ぐらいかな、プロモーションで来てくれた時に一緒に飯を食ったりとかして。
He said, yeah, 2 years ago when he came for promotion, they had dinner together and stuff.
いや連絡すればすぐ連絡してくれるんですごくいい人です。ハリウッドのすごく有名なねセレブになったんだけどもすごく気さくだしすごくいい人ですね。
He said, yeah, he feels like if he reached out again, it'd be really easy to get in contact with him. Even though he's kind of a really big, important person in Hollywood now, he's just the same nice, genuine person that he's always been.
もちろんなんか一緒にできれば最高ですけどね、すごく忙しい人になったので、
He said he'd love
使うチャンスがあれば。
to work with him again. I mean, he's become an incredibly busy person, so there might not be that chance right away, but yeah, he'd love to.
So we talked a little bit about Killer 7, No More Heroes, the Silver Case, obviously. One of the things that I always find that I gravitate towards in your games is that they are extremely bloody, extremely violent, but almost comically so, like fountains of blood. Do you ever?
Yeah.
Do you ever go? Gosh, that was too much. We got to tone this down a little bit.
ちょっとやりすぎじゃないかもうちょっともうトーンダウンした方がいいかなとたまに思うんですか?
そうですね。やっぱりトーンダウンすることもあるんですけども、レッド・トゥ・ダイの時にやっぱり血の量が少なくて、 やっぱスタッフをすごく怒ったことがありますね。
He said, yeah, I mean, sometimes he does, but on the other hand, like, let it die says the blood level's kind of low. And he said even the staff kind of got angry about that, like, come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
本当ですか?
They wanted
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
They wanted
yeah.
more blood.
もっと違うしかった。
いや、もっと違う欲しかった。
Yeah,
パックスに出す前にやっぱりこれじゃダメだと。
So before PAX, he said, you know,
パ
before
ッ
they
クス
did
で
that,
ファンは何を待ってるんだ、血だと
He said-
いうことでもっと増やせ、まあ 1.5 倍にしましたかね。
what are the fans waiting for? He said, blood.
Blood.
So
Yeah, yeah.
let's pump that up like
Yeah.
1.5 times
Just
1.5.
go in and just turn up the,
そ
turn
れ
up
で
the blood.
じゃあブラッドミーダーをちょっと。
いやいやいや、メダグッと上げて、いや。
It's like, yeah, bam.
I love that because I think when people hear of sort of independent game developers, they think of like kind of cutesy, kind of quirky stuff. And I think we need more just over the top violence. It's fun.
暴力的なものを作ってほしいですね。それが楽しいですね。
あ、本当に OK、任せてください。
He said, in that case, leave it to me.
もう今日も T シャツね、全部血だらけなんで。
His t-shirt's like, you know,
Even your t-
all
yeah.
bloody.
Yeah.
Your shirt is bloody.
いや
Yeah. So this your T-shirt reminds obviously very sort of Castlevania inspired. Is that something that is there? Would you ever want to make a Castlevania game?
悪魔城のような T シャツですけど。
あ、これはね、あれです。シルバー事件の実は続編があって、シークエルが。それがまあシルバー事件25区っていうんですけども、それを作りたいなと思っていて、シルバー事件がまあ今回成功すればなんですけども、まあそれも意味も込めてこの T シャツ着てます。
So this T-shirt actually is to the sequel to the Silver Case, a game called 25 Wars.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, Silver Case as well. He really would like to, you know, remake this game as well.
Oh, cool.
That's actually
Yeah.
what this T-shirt's from, as he says.
Sweet. So what video games have you enjoyed in the last few years? I mean, besides having to make games, you get to play other people's games. I hope.
なんか好きなゲームはあったりしたんですか最近？
最近ここ数年がなかなか遊べてないんですけども、まあもちろんホットラインマイアミがすごく最近最近のゲームで一番好きなんです。
Hotline Miami, probably within like most recent games. He doesn't have a lot of time to play games with
Yeah,
Hotline
yeah,
Miami.
I can see that, yeah.
いやあとはまあインサイドまだクリアできてなかったりとか、
So he hasn't finished Inside, but Inside.
あと上田さんのねトリコもまだクリアできてないんで。
He hasn't finished Ueda-san's newest, the Last Guardian.
Yep.
いやいや、まだまあその2つはまず早くクリアしたいなと思って。
So he wants to focus on those two, so Inside
Cool.
and
Yeah.
Last Guardian.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, I have one last question for you. You've worked with Nintendo in the past.
さんと
If you were to make
Yeah.
if you were to make a Super Mario game,
スーパー
what would that be like?
どんなようなゲーム作るんですか？
Wow.
What's a Suda51 Super Mario?
Me?
game?
Suda
Yeah.
51
Okay.
のゲームなんですか？
Pseudo Mario.
OK、須田マリオ。
Suda Mario
ちゃ
Brothers.
んと言わないとね、任天堂さんがね、作るべきだって思ってもらわないといけないから。
He said, okay, so right now he's got to think carefully because he wants Nintendo to be like, we need to get this guy to make the game.
なので血はちょっとにしとこうかなと思ってま
He
す。
said,
まずは。
first, maybe tone down the blood a little bit.
Okay.
あ、もうダメだな。もうこれダメだ。
He said, right there, it's out, it's out.
OK。
He said, wait.
まあでもなんていうのかな、まあ基本はマリオがねピーチ姫を助けに行くわけじゃないですか。
He said, Mario is basically Mario rescuing Peach, right?
Yeah.
でも今度はルイージを助けに行くようなゲームですかね。は
How about he rescues Luigi?
い。まあ、すっげえやばい悪党に捕まってしまって、
So for this really bad guys capture Luigi.
でまあマリオと今度クッパが仲間になって
So Mario and Koopa become
す
friends.
げえやばいやつを
And they go together.
助けに行く、まあロードムービー車で
It's like a road movie in a car.
All right, all right.
I love that.
Yeah.
南から北に向かってこう
So they go from the south to the north and just go
アメ
through
リ
it.
カをこう横断するような。
Like through
いやそ
America.
んなマリオのゲーム作れたら最高だなと思いま
I
す。
think that'd be great to make a Mario game like that.
でとにかくマリオとクッパがコンビ組むっていうね
The point is though, Mario and the
みんなの夢を
Koopa,
叶え
that
たいなと思って
combination
ます。はい
to fulfill everyone's dreams.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Alan, Suda, thank you guys so much for coming
Thank you.
today.
Thank you.
This is fantastic. Seriously,
Thank you. Thank
excellent.
you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And I really hope you get to make that Mario game someday.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Mario
But in the meantime, when
Midnight
can,
Run in Mushroom Kingdom.
when can people play Silvercase?
シルバーケースはいつプレイ
あ
できるんですか？
今年の4月
そうですね。This
何でしたっ
April.
け
This April.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And
And it's out on Steam right now.
Yep.
そうですね。Steam.
Excellent.
いや、
excellent.
そしても出ます。Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Look forward to more Suda games and hopefully that Mario one down the line. But for now, we're going to head over to Xavier Woods. We got to talk to him this week in just another fantastic interview. So stay tuned right here. Here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Up at Noon. I am Max Scoville. I'm joined by my cohort, Brian Altano, and
Hey.
a very special guest, Xavier Woods.
What's going on?
You are a WWE superstar?
Yes, I am.
You're a wrestler man?
Wrestler man in
Do lots of-
shiny pants.
Do kinds of exciting jumping and
and
moves.
punching and kicking and
But
getting
I-
punched and kicked.
I also read on the internet that you're a huge nerd.
To an extent. I mean, I have a Triforce tattoo on
Yeah?
my arm.
Yeah?
Because it's real.
It's
I-
scary to see that and like the muscle. Usually you see a Triforce tattoo over like a much larger arm.
Yeah. Or like it's on Link and he's a dainty little boy. Yeah.
boy man.
Yeah.
No, I was in Toronto, so traveling with WWE, we go all over the world. We're in Toronto, super rainy day. I was really trying to find something in the mall, but I couldn't find the mall. And I asked a guy who's on the street, he goes, oh, he tells me where it is. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. And as I turned around to like say bye, I saw him just like wave, and he had a Triforce tattoo on his arm. Wow. But like he was super businessman, so I wouldn't have known. Because I had this thing, like I'm never throwing away any of my gaming shirts because I want people to know, like, this is what I like. I love Double Dash, and I love Zelda, and all this stuff. And I was like, no, just get a tattoo. Then I can go business suave.
I've got like a Star Wars tattoo, and occasionally I have that same thing where like a guy in the bus will be like, is that Mandalorian? And I'm like, yeah.
So and then you know.
Yeah.
Then you know.
Yeah.
So do you feel like nerd culture is kind of moving away from that kind of like hidden in the shadows Fight Club era of like kind of like people used to hide this stuff?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like you're jacked. You take care of your body.
You.
Unless you were just born this way and you're just incredibly lucky.
Yeah, my mom,
the bizarre shellfish allergy.
The labor was really intense.
Really?
Well, my mom,
Really?
she was bedridden for days.
Just punch you.
Yeah.
That's horrible. What a great visual that was. But I feel like back in the day, if you were like, I like video games, people were kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
And then you look at things now, Game of Thrones is the most popular show on TV. Marvel movies make $1 billion a year. Video games are everywhere. Like what happens now? Because I feel like the nerds have won.
Yeah.
We're out there. We're out in the streets. You're not covering up your tattoos.
Yeah.
How do we get to the point where we can just sort of like flaunt it? And how do we get more people to sort of come out of their gaming closets when it comes to stuff like this?
I think that we're pretty much there. I think obviously we still got a little bit to go because there's some people who, and I don't want to sound like a weird like convert to what we like, but like honestly, people who are super not into video games or not into comics, like oh, that's not for me. That's the nerdy stuff. Like they're the first ones in line to see like Civil War,
right?
And all like you said, all these Marvel movies, and they're watching Game of Thrones, and like these kids like love Harry Potter, and it's like oh, this is just like a nerdy thing because essentially it's not that it's some like alien idea. It's just a world of fantasy where you can like release what you have going on in your actual life and kind of just be set free in this other dimension, this other world with these crazy characters. Like you said, it's cool now.
Yeah.
Kind of we've won. But this is to me is like when the young good prince is fighting like the evil king and he finally wins. It's like oh, what do? It's like oh, well, we have peace now.
Yeah.
And we just hang out.
Now we just hang out.
Everything is just cool.
I think you get a lot of people that they play games on their phones or they'll watch like, even like when people were watching Twilight back in the day, I'm like, oh, you guys are watching some nerd shit right now. You don't even know it. You're watching a TV show about lycanthropes. Like,
so one thing that's pretty funny is like my first awareness of you was you and the New Day coming out in Saiyan armor. And I'm like, oh, WWE is becoming Dragon Ball? Like now you have my attention. Like, I've never been a big wrestling guy, and I remember in high school looking at Dragon Ball Z action figures on one of the school computers, and this girl's like, is that wrestling? And I was like, yes, because that was more safe. That was way cooler than anime at the time. And now it's like you're bringing this stuff together, and that's amazing.
I'm trying to. So the really awkward description that I try to use is that if we have a Venn diagram of wrestling fans and like gaming nerds, the middle, I'm just trying to stretch it as much as possible. Just get a good stretch. Just widen it out like hot dog in a hallway.
All right.
Just stretch it to
the goatsy Venn diagram.
I was about to say that.
100%.
Okay, I'm glad you did because I was not going to.
Well, why not?
But now that you did it,
we're talking about merging different fandoms and showing they're the same. Because like we said with the fantasy world stuff, so people, I feel like they watch wrestling to get away. We call it suspending your disbelief. So you know what it is, but you allow yourself to fall into this world, and when you go to live shows, it's like if you've ever been to medieval times, you sit in the section.
One of my favorite places in the world.
Amazing, right?
I've almost been kicked out like that. I get really into those horses.
I feel like you got the ale, like, wench, bring me a flag. And I'm like, no, sir. That's too far.
I'm like starting fights with the other team and stuff like that. No, I like legit almost got kicked out of in medieval times.
You go full cable guy.
No, but you sit in like the green section, so you're like, that's my guy. 100% you cheer for him no matter what. There's wrestling fans like that. Like so with New Day stuff, so like you said, we came out in Saiyan armor. So like for me, like I try to do what I would have loved to see in wrestling. So if I would have seen that, I'd be like, those are my guys. No matter what they do, I will cheer for them. Those are my people. And some people have told me like, it's such a niche thing. Like, why wouldn't you do something that's like more far-reaching? It's like, because I don't care. Like, I want to reach out to the people that are like me. Because that's who I relate to. Like, if you like sports and you like fixing things in your house, cool. That's not me. You do you.
Well, it's like a Pixar movie where like the kids are there and they're laughing and cheering, but every now and then there's like a weird joke about alcoholism, and there's like a dad in the back like, Good one.
Exactly.
You got me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so even just from like a consumer standpoint, so if we are more kid-friendly, kids come to the shows and they go, Daddy, I want a shirt. Daddy goes, oh, you enjoy this, Timmy? You know what? I'll get a shirt too. Now we sold 2 shirts, and we created a situation where that son can bond with his father, and the father can bond with the son, and he sees him light up.
Profit deal.
I'm just saying, throughout all aspects of it. Because we get, on that side, there's a monetary aspect, then there's like the actual emotional aspect, and then the aspect of everyone coming together in that arena and just loving it. Because when I was a little kid, I'd go to these shows and lose my mind, and my dad wasn't super into it. But me losing my mind, he would have a good time. And now we'll see other adult men, other adult women that aren't even with kids. They just kind of come out to the show because, let's check out wrestling. But they're sitting around some kids.
Right.
Those kids are losing it, and it makes them happy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, everyone's so into this.
Yeah.
It's like this group.
There's
There's
a lot of crossover in that goatee you did, because if you think about wrestling, I mean, I grew up watching wrestling, right? And I thinking about why I love them is, and we're just doing goatees. Get in there, Max. I'm so glad we're putting that in there. I grew up watching wrestling, and I grew up reading comics, and I grew up playing video games. And to me, they all shared the same thing: superheroes.
Yes.
And the superheroes in wrestling were ones that you could actually go to Madison Square Garden. I went to WrestleMania 10. My dad's friend had box seats, so I saw WrestleMania 10 live.
Yeah.
I went to the Fan Fest, and the weekend before, I got to meet superheroes. I got to meet people that I saw in costumes who showed up, who played characters. You get to shake their giant hands. And little by little, I started realizing, like, I like this for the same reason I like X-Men, and the same reason I like Zelda, is because these are stories, there's arcs, there's characters that battle other characters for years, and they keep going. Like, the feuds were basically just like, Magneto and Wolverine just going on forever and ever.
100%.
So I think that's really important, to sort of bring all that together. But now, one of the weirdest things about your job, and I think people don't really completely understand it, is that you're traveling 400 nights a year. Yeah. You're constantly moving.
Yeah.
And now the new WWE game is on PC, which makes it a little easier, I think, if you get like a really nice gaming laptop to sort of bring that everywhere. But how do you keep up with this stuff? Like, do you bring consoles with you?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, so I have my gaming laptop is like the beefiest laptop known to man. It's like 30 pounds.
Wow.
It's huge.
Which is like nothing to you.
That's actually pretty convenient. Yeah, you clearly, that's how you got those. Yeah.
Your
That's
30
what it is.
pounds and my 30 pounds are a different 30 pounds.
There's no gym. I'm just carrying all my stuff around. But because I have my YouTube channel, Up, Down, Down. Go subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You can find me there, aka Austin Creed. That's my name.
That's right.
So I have my gaming laptop, and then all the stuff I need to film in there, webcams. I've got a Zoom, H4n, so audio, so I can set up that. And then in my backpack, it's a games case, GAEMS. So it holds a PlayStation, and then there's like a screen in there with no speakers in it, so it's like 0.5 pounds. But like it holds your controllers, your cables, everything. So
that's awesome.
It's very convenient.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually have it here.
Oh, wow.
So we can do
We
some
have
stuff.
we have a PS4 here if you
This is
want
like the
to
one
use it.
place
Okay,
you didn't
fair.
need to
Yeah,
bring it to, right?
yeah.
We got you.
Yeah.
I know. I just came off the road, so I've got.
So like, I guess
everything.
if you need to exercise and you're on the road and you're waiting for a while, you can just like lift all of your gaming gear.
just hold everything and do some squats.
Do you think it's important for gamers to get in shape?
Yeah, but okay, yes, I do. And I think it's easier for gamers to get in shape because it's literally real life leveling. Because if you're grinding out stuff in Final Fantasy and you're like, oh, I leveled, now my strength is up. Now my stamina is better. Oh, if I do this in real life and I go running for 45 minutes, wow, now my stamina is better. Now my strength is up.
It's true.
So
yeah, you actually go up a skill tree.
yeah,
basically.
literally. And you get to pick what skill tree you go up.
How do you recommend people start?
How do you exercise?
How do you? No, seriously. Like, it sucks. If you like just start running out of the blue, you're gonna puke or whatever. Do you have any recommendation for people who just want to get out there and just start grinding?
Like, okay, so on a stamina sense, like legit, play DDR.
Really?
100%.
There we go.
So I wrestled in high school, like high school wrestling, so in singlets and we're all there in stances and stuff. So I was like 180 pounds, but I wrestled in the 171 weight class, which meant I had to be under 171 pounds. So rather than waking up at 4 a.m. and running before I went to school, I would wake up and play DDR. To the point where my dad actually came into like the bonus room area that we had, because it was like on the same floor as him. And he came, he's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm sleeping right now. So he actually took my plastic pad and put it on a like piece of wood so that it wouldn't make as much noise. And he set me up essentially a DDR station in the basement.
That's
I could
awesome.
play, and I'd play for like 2 hours a day.
Did you call it a
Drop
bonus
away.
room?
Yes.
You were born a gamer. Jeez.
That's what it is. That's what it was.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people have that difficulty because, I mean, video games is such a sedentary thing,
Yeah.
and you do get to control superheroes that are awesome and they are all powerful. One of the things I saw was that Bloodborne, when it first came out, had incredibly long load times, and people were like doing push-ups every time they died.
Yeah.
So is there sort of anything you can work into the actual, like, you're playing a video game, you die, grab a free weight, start going? Like,
100%. Free weights are good. So if you have like 5-10 pound weights and you're just doing them every time you die, or people love achievements. Every time you get an achievement, do 100 push-ups or like do 20 push-ups, like whatever, wherever you want to start.
I would like try to not get achievements.
That's gotta suck if it's one of those games where you just like start it up and they're like, congratulations, you started a new game. You're like, come on,
Like, I
just got here.
I gotta start already.
I just got back from the store. No, that's awesome. So what are you playing right now?
Mobius Final Fantasy.
Interesting.
My phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
man.
it's so good. So like they just had the Steam release, and so I tried it out because I hadn't played it yet. And then we were live streaming it on Up Up Down Down, my YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you haven't already.
I go see every time.
Please do. That'd be my new logo. Spread it wide. So playing that. I'm recently gotten back into Overwatch.
Oh, cool.
Which I'm obsessed.
Is it crazy seeing yourself in a video game?
Yes.
Not in Overwatch. I know.
No, I'm trying to get a Lucio skin.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Trying. So we're gonna try to cosplay as some Overwatch characters at like SummerSlam or something.
So what's the whole process like of getting in a video game? Do you get mocapped? Do you get?
Yeah. So if we talk WWE games,
Yeah.
So they have these setups that they bring to Raw or SmackDown, and it's like a room with like 200, 300 cameras,
Like the Matrix?
DSLR cameras. Yeah. So you stand in the middle, and then they press the button, and like you hear like 300 clicks.
It's like a centipede running up a wall.
Yeah, it's terrifying because you're in this tiny space. Like, oh my god, I'm scared. So you do a couple of poses, and then they get a couple of like close-up shots of your face. So then when they need to do, like animate you saying things, they can cycle through those. Wow. But it's awesome. But we actually don't get to do our mocap, unfortunately, because we're traveling so much. So they bring in like independent guys to do the mocap stuff. But it's funny because I actually got a text from one of my friends who did the mocap for New Day in the last game, and he goes, "Hey, so I just did your dance. I'm sorry."
I'm like, yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you have like creative feedback? If you're like, that's not how I walk way cooler than that.
No, I mean they hit everything because like, so I used to do mocap for Midway back in the day.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
who
Sal Divta.
Oh my god. Okay.
So like he's. So whatever you have to do, you just watch like a video of it like 20 times, and you practice walking through it, and then you put the suit on, and then you just do it until it's like the video that you see. So like then you get a chance to like watch it back, like watch your actual motions paired up with the video,
that's
so you can
nuts.
see what you need to change and stuff like that. But they're really good. They're spot on.
So I wanted to ask, you've been in a video game as yourself, a few video games. You dress up like characters when you come on stage, and you're kind of you're ripping the barrier
go.
between reality and fiction apart too. Wrestlers have made a history of going on to act, and I mean, like Dwayne Johnson is like the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now.
he's real good.
Do you want to do that at all? Is that a thing?
I want to work for a video game company.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So my educational degree is in psychology and philosophy. I have 2 undergraduate degrees and then a master's in psychology, and I want to do something to children dealing with autism.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't understand the relationships of having children dealing with autism and then having a typically developing sibling. Like, from a kid's standpoint, they just see all the attention going to the kid dealing with autism, and they don't understand like why. They just see like, oh, I'm not getting attention, I'm not getting love,
Right.
and it messes up the relationships here. So I want to do stuff that kind of helps that, but I want to figure out a way to either do that with some sort of like video game aspect, because it's another world that you can say, hey, I'm not dealing with this actual problem, I'm dealing with it in a simulated sense over here, so then when I come back to real life, I can better approach the situation.
Have you read about the benefits of VR in autism?
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly
Fantastic.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Dude, VR is like so great for everything.
Yeah.
There's so many things that you can simulate and like try to deal with, because a lot of kids use play, like so they'll use their characters. So like, oh, Noctis and
You can play with
Raphael are gonna do things like, oh, you know, they're not friends, so I'm mad at you because of this. Well, I don't like you because of this. Oh, well, let's be friends now. And then in
That's
their
not canon.
no,
Raph is used to that though. He's always an ass, and then he comes back and apologizes.
Exactly.
That's his whole thing.
So like kids use stuff like that to play through scenarios in their minds that they could then attach to the real world. So using VR, which is even more real life simulation than playing with toys, is another way that kids can kind of advance in that social
That's
aspect.
awesome. I mean, like
you
we're
should
also
pitch-
we're at a
I was gonna say you should pitch 2K on a WWE VR game.
Dude, I'm so down.
That'd be rad.
2K is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're good people.
I'm
so
glad they're taking care of you.
Good. Yeah, I was going to ask, like, I love that you're like, I want to make the world a better place, and I was going to be like, what cinematic universe would you like to be a part of? So, anyway, but no, that's awesome. We've got games like, that Dragon Cancer and Depression Quest that are about, like, dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
It's not just like, kill the wizard, so escapism is good, but it's nice to have a little bit of personal growth in there.
Yeah,
too,
100%. Because, like, it's a platform that we have the ability to use, so, like, why not use it, you know?
What's your favorite experience in VR you've done?
I was playing, so I have an HTC Vive. When I got it, I downloaded the pool game.
Yeah.
And so I had a bunch of friends at my house, and we're like, oh, it's like a VR party. We're all trying it out. And so I accidentally got online, and the guy was like, yelling at me. He's like, oh, ready to play pool? Like, I'm pretty sure he was drunk. Playing pool. Yeah. Like,
it's intense?
We played a game of drunk pool, I guess. It was really weird. So that's
bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite experience.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things about VR is it gives you incredibly just sort of mundane things that you do in real life, and it makes them fun.
Yeah.
Like you'll pick up a cigar or like a cell phone or a gun, which I'm sure is a lot more fun in real life. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is really interesting. I'm like doing this myself. Like playing pool is like, I see it in the corner of a bar and I'm like, oh, that's fine.
I think it's actually cheaper to get a pool table in your house than an HTC Vive and possibly run it.
Yeah.
Also, like, I love that you're on the road a lot, and you're like, you get the VR setup that requires the most moving parts and
100%.
cables and stuff.
100%.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird. That's like if you put a pool table in your house and then there was like a drunk ghost yelling at you. Like,
I'd be real upset.
He's not actually there. You're like,
well, if the drunk ghost is actually able to play pool, I might be okay with that.
I smell a sitcom.
All right.
Well, Xavier, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
What was the name of your YouTube channel again?
Up, up, down, down. You can check us out on YouTube. Go subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. On that show, you can find me as Austin Creed, the host. You can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Xavier Woods PhD, and check out the gaming channel on Instagram and Twitter at Up, Up, Down, Down without the O's. Thanks for watching.
And do not Google Goatsy. We're really sorry.
Yeah, don't do
about
that.
With the hands.
We're going to have a talk with HR after this.
Oh, and where can people play as you? In what video game?
Oh, they can play as me in WWE 2K17, and they can get all the other fantastic 2K games at wherever video games are sold.
There's other wrestlers in those games too. They're not
Yeah, they're not as cool as me.
Yeah, not
They're
even
as cool as
close.
me. Look at that. Some of that. And they're not wearing a sweet Bat Hound shirt.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, man.
No
It's
problem.
been a blast.
You guys have Windjammers here.
Yeah, we do.
You want to play Windjammers?
It's my favorite game.
All right.
That and Mario Kart Double Dash. If you got Double Dash.
Windjammers.
Yeah.
We're going to go play Windjammers.
Perfect.
We'll see you guys later.
Jam the wind.
Welcome back, everybody. Here we are once again doing our thing, and we've got an even more special guest.
That's not
Marty.
Not nearly as special
Marty.
as previous guests.
Marty. This is Marty
Marty
Sleva.
Sleva,
If
yeah.
you know Marty Sleva, he works at IGN. He walks around the office all the time. We're always like, "Hi, Marty," because he works here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marty, you do all kinds of weird,
Yeah.
interesting things in the nighttime.
Yeah.
The most interesting recently was a Resident Evil escape room.
Yeah, it was super fun. I know the other week you guys talked with Zach about the Legend of Zelda escape room,
Which you also got to do.
which I also got to do. Yeah, and this one I did with Zach and Alana, who's also been on the show. This one is a little bit different than the Zelda one. The Zelda one, which was like a big sort of like everyone was in the same room, and it felt sort of like a high school production in a good way. I mean,
Yeah.
you were there, like
Yeah, yeah.
you did that.
It's like a big poker table room.
Yeah. Whereas this one, it was just four of us inside a room,
And it was like an actual single room.
It was a single. It was like 3 interconnected rooms, but it was a single location. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious how you guys keep getting trapped in these rooms.
It is really bad, but this one
that's unsafe,
We went
but-
to a bar beforehand, and we just
Okay.
got business drunk.
So
You got saucy.
Resident Evil is known for like a totally different kind of breed of puzzles than
Yes.
Zelda. Like Zelda's more like big moving pieces,
Yeah.
so it's kind of odd that they would have that be like small table stuff. What was the Resident Evil version?
Oh, dude, like the puzzles
you can't
were.
go into it for spoilers,
yeah,
obviously.
and I
but
wouldn't want to because this is doing a national tour.
Right,
So
but
check it out.
kinda structurally,
Yeah.
yeah.
It felt like puzzles in Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
It was a lot of like looking through drawers and you find a scrap of something. You're like, well, what does this mean? And then you go to the second room and you're like, oh, well, this has the same indentation as the thing in the first room, and you put them together and you're like, oh, this is spelling something out. You're taking paintings off the walls.
Wow.
There was a VHS tape that you had to play at one
Oh,
point.
that's
awesome.
rad. Okay, yeah,
it was
yeah.
super cool.
So did they take like a hotel and just hijack the rooms? Like I never understand how they do these things.
So it was in like a big artist's loft in
Okay.
the mission, and then they created sort of 3 smaller rooms.
Yeah.
And like they were designed almost the way you would play through a Resident Evil game. One had a like a very sort of mansion feel to it. One was felt like a police station, like Resident Evil 2, and then one felt very much like a biohazard lab.
Okay.
You're sort of going between them, and they had spooky noises, and there was like, I think, and we also had a tour guide, and his name was Jeff, but he told us that we could call him Stony. And when I asked him if it was for the reason I thought, and he said yes.
Oh.
So Stony.
Good to know. Yeah.
So no one was sober in this room.
But
That's probably why he couldn't get out of the room, honestly.
But
He needed help.
He would be like hanging out, and he's like, all of a sudden he'd like start banging on something. We're like, what is that? He's like, I'm just banging on this. We're like, can you stop that?
That's
was
really
he
awful.
trying to make ambient noises?
I think he was trying to scare us. Yeah.
But then why did he tell you he was doing it?
Because he was Stony.
All right, good old
Okay,
Stony,
yeah.
that classic Resident Evil character.
But seriously, it was a ton of fun. It was an hour long. We escaped it with 45 seconds to spare, which
Oh
was
my
like, super
God.
cool. Like we felt really good afterwards.
What happens if you don't? The spikes come down and kill you.
Oh, spikes
right?
come down. You get turned into a Jill sandwich.
You get stuck in there with Stony until you can escape.
It's Stony purgatory.
I'm just willing to believe that Stony was there from the previous group, and he was so Stony that he got stuck in there with you.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Yeah.
He was in an umbrella lab coat. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was classic Stony.
So there was a lot of sort of like flair to the room that, I mean, without spoiling too much, that really felt more Resident Evil.
Yes, totally. If like if this other one felt like a really fun high school production, like this felt like an actual like theater group.
Do you think this is the kind of thing that if people are Resident Evil fans and they want to bring their significant other who maybe isn't,
Totally.
That they'll get into it also?
Yeah, totally. And you don't have to worry. Like it's not like there's no one who's nothing's gonna grab you. Like it's spooky, but it's not scary or like you're never in harm's way.
Were there any monsters or anything?
No monsters. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's hot garbage.
There was Stony.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess man is the world's most dangerous monster.
And so is time. That's
Yeah.
another
Yeah,
monster
so is time.
that many of us
And
face.
so are
Timing
VHS
Man.
tapes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a threat in several Ring-related movies.
So do you know how much it was to do it?
I think it's we did a press thing. I believe it's $40.
Okay.
Totally worth it, honestly though.
Yeah. And you can find this all online. It's all through IM8bit.
Yeah, IM8bit and Capcom.
Okay.
IM8bit is one of those companies that like puts so much TLC into everything they do.
Yeah, they
Whether
put
it's,
Battletoads out on vinyl, and you open it, it plays the pause screen.
Yes,
music.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now there's two of these tours going on at the same time. One of them is for the Resident Evil Escape Room. One of them is for the Zelda Room.
Yeah.
If you had to pick one, which would it be?
I had a much better time at Resident Evil. That being said, if you have kids, I would probably lean towards the Zelda one.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
So you're saying that Resident Evil 7 is a better game than Zelda Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I've
IGN.com.
I've put so much time into Breath of the Wild with my several switches.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had to hit several switches to get out of that secret puzzle room.
You know who's still there? Stony.
Stoney's definitely locked in there for a very long time. Well, thank you so much, Marty.
of course.
We're
Yeah.
actually going to keep you around for a little
Yeah,
while
it's
longer,
actually easier
because
if
we like you.
to sit
I can't
there.
escape the room.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do today? Should we talk about toys or toys?
talk about some toys.
Let's talk about some toys.
Marty's
Do you
favorite
want
thing.
to bring these boys over here?
Yeah.
The fine folks at Kid Robot, who are, if you're unfamiliar, they do. We're really selling it.
It's a big box of toys, and there's the things inside.
Yeah,
I
so-
know I can see what's inside.
Yeah. So
There
Kid Robot
are
is
toys here.
Okay, can you?
Lots of toys
Okay, stop.
inside
Can
the
you
box.
stop singing and
Here's
knocking
a big
the toys
old box
over?
of toys. You can
Please-
put them on the table.
please stop.
And then you can play with them.
Please stop doing this, or they will not send us more toys.
They will. they
they
love
won't.
that song.
Okay, these actually
Anyway.
look really cool.
Yeah, they are
Yeah,
really cool.
So you guys are kind of famous on the internet for not loving Sonic the
I
Hedgehog.
know, Sonic.
Alright.
You all hate Sonic the Hedgehog.
not what we
and,
said.
I think Sonic's okay.
I like Sonic 2 and Sonic and Knuckles.
I like Dr.
that is not
Robotnik.
what I said in the video about this man.
Anyway.
He's a hedgehog, and he's got shoes.
All right,
Yes.
So these are modeled
Anyway.
after the original video game Sonic
Yeah,
the Hedgehog.
that's why there's no Knuckles or anything. But basically, this was Kid Robot. If you're unfamiliar, they do urban vinyl, which is kind of like designer toys.
Yeah.
These are actually they're not really like stylized too much. Like they're done based really closely on the original
Yeah.
artwork. They're kind of randomly blind box. They go for $10 a pop. They're on Amazon. They're at like toy stores. You can find them all over the place.
If you buy
that
if you
one-
buy a giant Knuckles box and put it on top of this one, Knuckles will appear in this set. Yeah. You guys like that one?
But yeah, these are really gorgeous. Can we get like a close up on this funny boy?
Yeah.
This funny beetle.
How about this over here? This Jared Petty action.
Yeah,
figure that we got.
I really
Oh,
love
everyone.
this Dr. Robotnik. Like these are gorgeous.
The one thing I really like,
anyway,
I miss this Sonic who had this sort of pregnant belly.
Yeah.
He was a
Oh
little
yeah, no,
pregnant
like
hedgehog.
that's what I really like is that I want this for more video game series. Like
Yeah.
I would love it if they got a hold of Nintendo and we're making like little figurines based on like Super Metroid or whatever.
Yeah. Did we talk about this one? Because this one's really
Amiibos.
cool.
Those are hard to
This-
get big.
No, amiibos aren't stylized properly for me.
This one is very much sort of the 8-bit Mario and Link amiibo inspired. Which
Looks
I
like
love.
that 3D Dot Heroes, that
Yeah,
FromSoft game.
yeah.
I think we have all of the entire selection here except except for one which is basically just a ring. Like it's a mystery one. It's one every 40 boxes you open. That's how it's distributed.
We didn't get it?
No,
hey.
because we only opened 20 boxes.
Check it out. Problem solved. Done.
Great job, Brian.
Yeah.
You really showed them.
So what I like about this is that they also did a bunch of the enemies, which I don't remember the names of. Because,
That's a basketball boy.
yeah, basketball monkey.
Yep.
We got
That's the Charlotte Hornet.
fly ass.
Wow, they were really all modeled after early 90s basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
spiky foot.
The Alonzo Mourning.
There's the IKEA furniture.
Captain Fish.
Yeah. Anyway, no, these are great. I like
Yeah.
these. So yeah, if you're a Sonic fan, if you're looking for a particular one, you're probably better off checking eBay because people are going to open them up and unbox them and stuff. But yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They
don't
do a lot
do
of
that
stuff
thing
like
that
this.
Goldfarb does at conventions where you just keep buying them individually, one by one, hoping you get the one you want.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Never do that.
Either buy the whole box, or I mean, if you're trying to get the set, or yeah, like what Max said, just buy them piecemeal.
Yeah, I'm sure there's actually when we were in when I was in Japan, there are stores that basically sell just gashapon stuff, like those little kind of
Capsule toys?
capsule toys, bubblegum machine things. But they'll buy a bunch of them and just unbox them, and so you can get the one you want.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
as opposed to having to sort of gamble for it.
Yeah, you'll save a few bucks, and then you also have to buy a flight to Japan. But other than that,
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
actually
totally worth it.
no, I did the math. It's actually cheaper to yeah.
So Kid Robot also does a bunch of different, it's not just Sonic little
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just sort
they
of
also make turtles.
That
It's
is not the
Teenage
turtle song.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
God, you are driving me nuts. Yeah. So anyway, normally the
Sorry,
stuff
guys,
they
I'm
do
gonna
is
be really serious right
it's
now.
these guys I think are also $10 a pop. These are
Oh, why is Raphael look
Teenage
so
Mutant
angry?
Ninja because he's Raphael.
Keep pulling out Raphael's.
Yeah.
He's stewing.
Look at all these double turtles. Anyway, these are more stylized. They obviously they all have this sort of body type, but they just started doing some really deep cut characters like Metalhead or what was this, Toka?
Toka and Razor?
Yep. We got
and
Casey
Razor.
Jones. We got April O'Neil. She's kind of weird looking.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Or is that Toka? That's Toka. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sergeant Bananas.
Wait, is that a real name?
The Rat King.
Ah.
But yeah, they sent these over. They're awesome. I really like some of these. Where is it?
Ace
This
Duck
one
is awesome.
This one is my favorite. This was one of my favorite toys as a kid. Mutagen Man. If you had the toy as a kid, you basically open up a tube in his back, and he had this clear body. Get that out of here. Get that out of here.
Uh-oh, look
Get-
who it is. It's our friend Knuckles. Looks like we've unlocked him. I think he's dead. I think
Wait,
he
did
died.
Knuckles? Oh no, we actually looked that up. Knuckles would be dead because the average lifespan of the echidna just passed.
Oh,
so
that's
like
right.
from when Sonic 3 came out. So Knuckles.
But that's assuming that Sonic 3 happened on Knuckles' day of being born.
Yeah, he was an adult. He was
Like
an
he
adult.
came out of
echidna.
a
he came out of the
echidna
womb with such tude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
punched out.
Yeah. But there's they have a bunch of other things. We have some Adventure Time ones in the office.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
we'll probably
bunch of
unbox more of
properties.
them. But yeah, I mean, these are just fun toys. Like, keep an eye on Kid Robot if you like weird crap to put on your desk.
Man, that Knuckles thing really.
You said this was the one that was.
That's the rare one.
It's the rare one, right?
Yeah, this
so
is
you only
good old
actually get
Metalhead.
only one of these per box.
Oh, that's awesome.
This one's mine.
Okay.
I'm keeping it.
That's fun.
You cannot have Metalhead. Metalhead was great. The original toy, you hold his head up to the light, had a pink thing, and his eyes would light up through the sun. It was great. It was great. It was real good.
Why did you say that?
I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
Oh,
he's back!
Get
look
out
who
of
it is.
there.
It's
Get him outta
Knuckles.
here.
It's that man named Knuckles. He's
Stop
ghost
it.
thing. What kind of weird PNG image is that with the grid in the background?
At least it's not Big the Cat.
Yeah,
We should probably start prepping like transparent PNG images so we can have them haunt the set.
Yeah.
Anyway.
now they have that idea back there.
Yeah,
They're gonna make
great.
that happen forever.
Okay, so I do a lot of weird things on the internet. I like to look around at pictures of stuff. One of the pictures of stuff I like to look at is Gundam, which of course are those big robots that you build model kits of in Japan. There's a huge culture about like customizing Gundams, kit bashing, doing weird stuff, and I found what possibly might be my favorites ever. There's this guy who's just got a Facebook page. I think he's based out of China. I'm not sure. It's a language I cannot read. But his Facebook is facebook.com/JGCJustin, and he makes some of the coolest pop culture mashups of Gundams that I've ever seen. So I figured I'd show some of these off. You can go check him out on his blog or whatever. I think he sells them. But yeah, we've got the first one is Wolverine.
Damn.
This is so cool.
This is, of course, it's 1/144th scale, so it's probably about 5 inches tall. And he took bits and pieces of it, and I think he borrowed parts from other figures and bashed them in there. He made those claws from scratch.
And he photoshopped little shiny.
Yeah, the little
stars.
lens flares.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
little
I
snicks.
didn't catch that.
That's
Yeah,
super
so
cool.
he does some really cool, just go like his page. It's really cool.
Do you think at any point in the film Logan he's going to become a robot?
I don't
hope
think
so.
that's going to
Okay.
happen.
I hope so.
And then, of
Seems
course, there's
funny.
this wonderful Darth Vader. I love that they're like, they don't actually call him Darth
Star
Vader.
Wars Black Knight?
Star Wars Black Knight.
Yeah.
Looks like a quarterback.
Yeah, and this is a bigger scale, but he built like this whole base and everything, so it looks like Cloud City. And this is, I think he added LEDs so it lights up. These ones,
Oh, that is awesome.
yeah, and these are all like the same mobile suit mostly. I think Raphael's a goof, but yeah, they're just. I mean, he just takes these like model kits that are. They don't look anything like this, and he,
So I was going to say,
gets
Max,
weird with them.
how does one go about like sort of making one of these? Like,
So-
how many kits do you think ends up in, say, one of those turtles?
I would say maybe 1.5 if
Okay.
I had to guess. He might even just be using kind of parts on top of them. But if you've never built a Gundam before, you can get one for like $15-20, and they come injected molded, so they're basically pre-colored. They come with decals. You can just build one out of the box. They're all snapped together. There's no glue. Basically, they're the best model kits. American model kits where you've got to like use tweezers and like super glue, and you get your fingers stuck together, and the thing sucks. They're terrible.
That's
so.
for like the hobbyist trained dads.
Yeah,
I
those
don't
are
know.
definitely train
I'm really
dad
into
kits.
that.
I
But
had
yeah,
a bunch-
Gundams are awesome.
I had a bunch of the snap together Gundam kits when like Gundam Wing was on Toonami back in the day.
Yeah, here's one.
so cool.
Yeah, here's Batman, which like for a second this doesn't even look like. This looks like a Play Arts Kai figure. This doesn't even look like
This is
a Gundam.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's got some Dragon Ball Z ones. He built Frieza as a mech suit. You can't really see
Britney
it.
Spears' son.
Yeah.
Lord Frieza.
So now,
But
is he sort of like custom detailing stuff like that tail with an airbrush or something?
Yeah,
It
this
doesn't
is
look
this is
like
all
stock
airbrushed
colors.
and washes and stuff. Like he's not. This is not stock colors at all. This is him building stuff
Yeah.
and customizing it. I think he's adding LEDs and stuff. He's getting like really weird here. He's also working on a cell that's being driven by Dr. Giro.
Ah, that's so cool.
I don't even know where he got that Dr. Giro figure from. This started out as a very different Gundam, and he started getting very, very strange with it. And then he's got really weird
All right,
stuff.
this is nightmarish.
He's doing full Toy Story.
Yep.
He's even
I
got
don't, I don't like that Woody.
Yeah, he's even got a horse for Woody. He's got different versions, some of which have
Wow.
like the actual Woody head on there, but then they've got like robot bodies, which is very unsettling. Look at Mr. Potato Head. He looks like a damn nightmare.
Also,
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear is already pretty much just a Gundam.
pretty much.
Yeah, I actually love that Buzz Lightyear. That's
Yeah.
a sort of evolved version of his current.
But if that wasn't weird enough, there's
Oh!
also the Minion.
oh my God, he
why
looks
did
like
we
he's got a
stop?
butt full of toots.
Yeah, that's actually that's really not far off from what the design of the regular suit looks like. He just pretty much repainted this.
The regular
and added
Minion
goggles.
suit?
No,
Oh,
it's called
there's a
a
little
Zeong, but yeah. It's got weird gun fingers and a big pair of raver pants on its.
Yeah, why
suit.
is it? I don't like the toots.
Yeah,
Don't give them any ideas.
yeah, and then here's the really weird one,
What?
which is Frozen.
Wow.
What?
That's like not even recognizably a Gundam. That's just a robot woman.
That's a robot woman that decapitated
The snowman.
the snowman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're into this kind of stuff, go check it out. Facebook.com. I got the URL up there. I just love finding stuff like this on the internet.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So yeah, there you go.
Make them yourself and send them to us. And
Yeah.
then, or send us
Or
pictures.
don't. We got enough trash on our desks.
I mean, send us pictures. We'll put them on the show.
Yeah, that works. So we got a cool piece of information. I believe it was a YouTuber who dug this up, but basically Ubisoft put out a patch for Watch Dogs 2 for the ending, which is, we're not going to spoil anything. Spoiler, the game ends. It has a finale.
No.
They basically patched in this random audio file. It doesn't really have anything to do with the end of the game, but it's a conversation between two people, and it's this weird little like waveform thing that looks like this, and it's basically these people talking about how more and more dead sex cells are popping up around the world, and at the top of the thing there's a bunch of coordinates, and people type that in, and it hints at, or it leads to a Google or a map area of London, Brixton, and so people are speculating that Watch Dogs 3 is going to take place in the UK, which
would be
sounds,
cool.
yeah, it sounds about right. So I got to thinking, like, what would be good settings for Watch Dogs 3? Like, what are the most high-tech areas? The last one, obviously, San Francisco, home of kind of the tech industry. And one before that was Chicago, which I think has I think it's the most security cameras in America.
Yeah, that's why they chose Chicago
Yeah.
originally. I mean, London makes sense in terms
London,
of that.
London,
Yeah.
I think, has one security camera for every, like, 11 citizens or something like that.
that seems
It's crazy.
aggressive.
So
Did you guys play Zombie U? Yeah. So that was like a big element in that game was sort of like cutting into the security cameras, CTC, and analyzing environments from that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. So like if you type in London surveillance, you come up with all these photos of these like weird boluses of security cameras. So that makes a ton of sense. I'd totally buy it. But I got to thinking like, what are some other ones I would want to see? I think Brazil makes a ton of sense. Hacker culture is really big in Brazil because they were on the forefront of online banking. And it's also really kind of from the Watchdogs perspective of them being kind of like futuristic Robin Hoods in this like cyberpunk setting. There is a huge disparity of wealth and kind of like social classes in Brazil.
Right. The stealing from the rich, giving to the poor.
There's also violence.
Yeah, there's violence. There's also there's I guess probably jungles maybe. I don't know.
And there's those like what they're called favelas. Like that'd be a fun thing to run down.
So and then of course Dubai is another one. In this kind of audio clip, they're talking about how like new cells are popping up in South America, in Europe, in the Middle East. Dubai is one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the world in the 21st century, and they have drone racing there. They have the Grand Prix World Championships of drone racing. So yeah, those are two dudes.
Also, you see like the Dubai skyline, and you're like, that doesn't look like Earth.
Yep, that doesn't look like that looks like the future.
Yeah.
So another one like that is Singapore. Ubisoft even has offices in Singapore. I've seen photos of that look like concept art for a Halo movie. It just doesn't look like planet Earth over there.
This looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally, Russia would make a ton of sense because read the news. Just do it.
They hacking.
They do some hacks over there.
They're doing some
That's
hacking.
actually, I think that's like obviously I don't want to be China.
That is a weird picture of
Are those building like ghost buildings?
No, that's like downtown over there. I love that like that is like cyberpunk in real life right there. You've got like these futuristic stuff and you've got like,
It looks like all those buildings in the foreground are real and they're like, hey, someday we're going to build very tall buildings.
We have big dreams. It's like that picture of the cat looking in the mirror and seeing a lion.
So I think the real question is, do we think this sequel is actually going to happen? I mean, it's Ubisoft and it makes sequels, but Watch Dogs 2 didn't entirely move the needle when it comes to selling a ton of copies.
Critically it performed really well and we loved it.
Yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, all three of us did. Yeah, and we just know that we saw via MPD, like it didn't move the numbers the way Battlefield or Call of Duty did. That being said, like Ubisoft isn't one to give up on a franchise, and they are viewing this sort of as their next pillar alongside Assassin's Creed.
They've kind of said that it's not a one game. They said this with the first one. That it's an IP. It's a franchise.
Yeah.
I think it's worth noting that right about now is kind of like, first of all, Watch Dogs is about hacking. It's about people who are going to be digging through patch notes and stuff. So for them to kind of just like tease it by slipping that in there in an update,
is cute. Yeah,
especially now, like months after it came out, like it doesn't do anything for like, it's not like improving the online connectivity. It's adding to the story, sort of.
Yeah.
It's also about the time of year that usually Ubisoft announces big annual kind of releases.
Yeah.
Like, this is usually when Assassin's Creed stuff starts leaking. So.
And I mean, there was the rumors that Assassin's Creed, it took the year off and that the next one would be in Egypt. So I could totally see AC being this year and Watch Dogs being next year. Sort of doing it every other year.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I would
I'd
love
be
that.
super down with that.
Yeah, I mean, again, Watch Dogs 2 is such an awesome game, and it's only more and more topical as every day moves on.
Yeah, it bummed me out that more people didn't buy that game. Maybe people are waiting for sales or whatever.
Shame on all of you.
Yeah. Get on Watch Dogs 2. It's fun as hell.
Yeah, it's probably cheap now.
Yeah. Anyway, do we have anything else to talk about, or is that kind of the show?
We have a few minutes left. I wanted to talk about E3 real quick, because it's coming up. Publishers are already shifting their schedules around.
Yeah.
We got news from Microsoft this morning that they're doing their conference on Sunday afternoon now.
Yeah, Sunday at 2. So
As
traditionally it
opposed to what?
was Monday morning.
Yeah.
So before last year, it was always Monday was the big conference day, and we had Monday morning starting with Microsoft, and then we moved to EA, to Ubisoft, and to Sony at night. But now we're probably going to have EA on Saturday, along with a big public thing. And then Sunday is probably going to be Microsoft and Bethesda. And then Monday is going to be probably Ubisoft and Sony. And then Tuesday is probably going to be Nintendo. And then we die.
So
wow.
Is E3 just like a month now?
Yeah, this is E3 day 1 today.
Wow.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited. 15,000 fans are going to be there this year.
Yeah, which is super cool.
It sounds like they're actually pivoting to make the show more accessible to fans, because obviously if you're at E3 for fun, you probably aren't going to want to be up at like 8:30 on a Monday.
Yes,
so
you are.
Sunday. Okay, maybe you will, but I mean, like it's people who are doing something for it's not like a business week time of thing. It's Sunday afternoon.
It does seem odd that there's 15,000 fans coming, and then all of the press conferences are sort of moving away from where I assume people have already started booking their flights around.
Yeah, but I still think the press conferences are going to be press conferences.
Do you think they're hiding from the fans?
No.
What do they have to hide? That they're live streaming the entire time
in 4K probably.
You guys want to see a snippet from my upcoming fan film that I'm working on?
I would not.
Called,
I would rather not.
It's called The Egg and the Fox.
I would not.
And it's about love in strange places.
Well, anyway, that was up at noon. The large man is now making out with the little fox, so it's
He loves
time
to
to
have
go.
his belly rubbed.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
But he could also rub his bottom.
I'm Brian, that's Max, and that was our fan fiction, and I hope you really like it.
Be sure to find us on fanfic.net, where Tails the Fox and Dr. Eggman get in all kinds of weird scrapes and scrambles together.
Nothing says a big man and a small fox with two tails can't kiss.
Uh-oh, look who's here. It's that purple hedgehog, but he's got his finger out.
I really wish I would have left after the Resident Evil thing.
A lot of people did too. We had like big guests on the show, and they were just like, "What else do you want from us? We're making the toys make out."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's up at noon. We do the show every single week, so hopefully you're watching it. If not, maybe you know can tell us why.
What's
why
that?
you hate it.
What's that?
At this
What's
point,
that?
they're watching.
What was that? Is that Knuckles? Is he back? Dun, 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 dun. Where is that little thing, animal? Okay. Well, that was the show. Marty, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We did it again.
Sorry about the erotic hedgehog stuff.
No, I'm very aroused. It's fine.
Next week, we'll be back with a regular episode. If you have anything you want us to talk about, you have any cool toys you think we should geek out about on the show, any cool movies we should talk about, or anything like that, we are yours.
Yeah.
So let us know, and thank you so much for watching. After this, there's plenty of more IGN content available on IGN.com. I've heard that they've published several new articles today, and all of them are worth reading. Our shark has come alive, and I'm scared. It's time to leave.
Okay, that's
Thank you
actually
so much.
really upsetting.
Yeah,
I don't
that's-
like that one bit.
You're gonna spill the water out.
Oh, that's-
Thanks for watching. See you next week.
It's a dumb show.
What's up, everybody? Max and Brian here. We are playing Sniper Elite 4, which is a game about sneaking around and shooting some nazis in the head.
Yep, putting the bullets in the big boys.
Yeah, getting in those bushes real good. I don't care. Get out of here.
So we're not